Hey there, I am Lisa Medley. I'm an executive coach, and I'm here. Restarting my YouTube channel, and I'm going to help you develop confidence. And together, we're going to grow. We're going to grow in a lot of different areas. But today, we're talking about confidence. Confidence is associated with your well being, how you feel. If you're a person who experiences sort of ups and downs, right? You're in, you're out, you're up, you're down. One day you're in a funk, the next day is something different. One of the reasons could very well be that you are not completely tapping in and just being accepting of who you are and what you bring to the table. Listen, I started this YouTube channel, I don't know how long ago, and videoing is not something I completely enjoy doing, right? There's a lot of moving parts with video. You've got things like background, you've got sound, you've got lighting, you've got all these things to deal with, on top of not really knowing who you're talking to when you're talking. And so for those reasons, I've selected not to do a lot of video. But in order for me to grow in this space, that means that I have got to do more of it because actions, right? Actions leads to self-development and growth. So if you want to gain more confidence, you're going to have to do the work. So let's do it. Again, I am Lisa Medley. I'm an executive coach, and I help Black women lead with confidence. Now, before we get into the content, I want you to do me a huge favor and hit subscribe. I'm going to come to you weekly with tips, with information, it's conversations. I'm just going to give myself the freedom to do whatever the heck I want to do on this channel. So hit the subscribe button and share it with a friend. So, all right, let's get into it. The foundation of my executive coaching is emotional intelligence. Now, that's a word you hear a lot nowadays. It's almost a buzzword. What I want you to know, though, is emotional intelligence is super, super, super important to your development, to your growth. And I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, I don't care if you're a professional, an executive, a frontline person, a middle manager. I don't care if you lead nobody, lead everybody. It doesn't matter. Emotional intelligence is really, really important because if we're not aware of what we're feeling and how what we're feeling is impacting what we're doing, then we can very well be showing up in places where we're really not proud. We're not our best selves. And we want to be our best selves. We want to move forward as our best selves so we can get our best results, right? Okay, so I'm going to start, and every week we're going to pick emotional intelligence apart, and we're going to go section by section, bit by bit, line by line until we go through the whole wheel. And I'm going to show you the wheel in just a moment. I want you to just really open your mind and be ready to take this information in. I want you to comment. I want you to ask questions. I want you to show up as this is your classroom. So I want you to learn. I want you to learn the foundation of this so that, again, you can show up as your best self whenever and wherever you need to. Okay? All right, let's go. So the first competency or subscale we're going to cover is called self-regard. Now, self-regard is simply your self-worth, your confidence, self-esteem. It's sort of all wrapped up. The leaders and people that I work with, right, Black women specifically, we show up okay. When I say okay, if I were to do a calculate sort of the average score on a test, on an assessment, we score kind of average. Some of us really low, some of us really high. So Black women as a whole, from my research, we show up sort of middle of the road. Now, let me first share with you, and if I can figure this out, let me share with you the wheel that I was talking about. This is a screenshot of the wheel. And so if you see the wheel, you have self perception, self expression, interpersonal, and just keep going around decision making, stress management. Well, the self perception is really the foundation for all these other domains. All these other domains really are driven by how we perceive ourselves. Self regard is the very first one that we're going to talk about today. And if you see the definition up here, I want you to ignore all the rest because week by week, we're going to go through what each of these mean. Self regard is respecting oneself while understanding and accepting one's strengths and weaknesses. So it's often associated with feelings of inner strength and self-confidence. Self-regard is your inward, your emotional and your cognitive assessment of your self-worth, how you value yourself. And this impacts how you think, how you feel, how you behave. And so I want to, I wrote some notes because, again, I am building my own confidence here. So the first thing I want to talk about is what it looks like when we are not our most confident selves. I had a woman say to me, she said, all my life, I have been a people pleaser. All my life, from what she could remember, her goal was to make other people happy. And unfortunately, that's true for a lot of us. And it really has to do with how we were raised, how we were brought up, what environment we were brought up in. It has to do with our need for praise, for rewards, those external validating factors. That's external gratification and validation. Now, listen, we all like applause, we all like appreciation, we all want to feel valued, but the goal is intrinsic, which means get your reward from inside before you look for it externally. People pleasing is looking for external validation. We want to make sure that we are not alienating people. Your concern might be that you want to be a part of an organization or a group or a community. You want people to accept you, right? For who you are, for how you show up. And there's a mindset that we believe that we have to do a certain thing or be a certain thing or say a certain thing in order for people to accept us. And the truth of the matter is, if that is true, if you have to do X to receive Y, to feel valued and appreciated, then that individual is totally not worth your time. But it's a process. It's a process, and we have to get there, right? And so people pleasing is a sign that we don't value ourselves as much as we should. Next on the list is a fear of making a mistake. Now, this one is one that I have fought through. I know that failure is something we can't avoid. And today I'm grateful that I see failure as a way to learn and a way to grow. What you didn't see behind the scenes before I hit, record and before I'm able to come before you, I had tried 3 different methods to record this message The first two just were not working. I watched YouTube videos myself. I played with different things. And there was a time when I would have given up. There's a time when I would have gotten frustrated. There's a time when I would have thought to myself, I'm never going to get this. I want to share with you that you've got to push through. It can be frustrating, it can be overwhelming, right? But this is where you've got to tap into those emotions and understand what you're feeling. If you are feeling frustrated, right? Instead of taking the leap to say, which you're never going to learn or you're never going to be able to do, deal with the frustration, deal with the emotion that you're feeling, and then go back to it, right? Give yourself grace, in other words. So if I had gotten frustrated by, trying thing one and then thing two, and now I'm on thing three, if I had felt myself getting frustrated, then I know myself well enough now to first of all feel the frustration coming. I know to take deep breaths. I know to step away and stretch or go on to something else and come back. The other thing I knew to do was to choose the right time. I needed to choose a time to record this when I had nothing else going on. I have no appointments after I finish this process. I had no appointments before this process. So do what you can do to set yourself up for success, in other words. Okay. And that's going to help you manage that fear of making a mistake. Get in your mind that mistakes and failure is a way to learn. It's a part of the process. And stop attacking yourself for not getting it right the first time. Stop getting down on yourself because you are taking a little bit longer learning something or doing something that you believe you should be able to do quicker, right? That's called self-judgment. And one of the reasons our self regard suffers is because we don't accept. We have a hard time accepting our strengths and our weaknesses, right? It's all good. We can often own what we're doing, what we do well. What we have a problem with is owning what we don't do well, right? Owning it with no judgment. So take off the judgment hat, right? Allow yourself the space to learn and say to yourself, listen, this is the first time I'm recording this YouTube video in 6, 7 months. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but me and whoever's watching are going to learn together, right? Do you think it feels great to record something and have 2, 3, 4 views? Absolutely not. But 2 or 3 views, right, is greater than 0. And then when I see 10 views next week and 20 views the week after and 30 views the week after, that is how confidence grows. It is a step by step by step process. So I want you to remember that. I want you to hold on to that. When you are learning something new, when you are in a new environment, when you are challenged by being around people where you might not feel your best self, right? First, you got to embody this message. I belong on the call, in the room, and at the table. That is my message. You got to embody that mentally. But then also practically speaking, you've got to give yourself grace and say, listen, it's okay. I didn't show up as strong as I wanted to this time, but I showed up. And then the next time you will show up differently. And as you keep at it, you're going to grow in your confidence. Afraid of letting people down. Woo, right? Maybe there was a time in your life where you were expected to be perfect. Whereas, the people who raised you or the people in your environment expected you to always do well. If you brought home a B, it should have been an A. If you brought home an A, it should have been an A plus. And we learn behaviors to just continue to push ourselves beyond what's healthy, to be honest, sometimes because we don't want to let someone else down. You are the most important person in your life. You are. And the road to confidence is tough. Appreciating you for who you are and what you bring to the table. When you give things your best effort, I don't care who is expecting something different. You reward yourself for doing the best you could in the moment. So, a few other things. Hard on yourself. That's being overly critical. Dissatisfied with how you look physically, right? We all have things about us we're not thrilled with. I got this little thing on my head. I don't even know where that thing came from, right? But listen, it is what it is. It's one of the reasons I pushed myself into going gray, because I used to gray right here at the temple, right here in the front. And if I didn't get to my hairstylist quick enough, it would, kind of go back to the edges. And then this part would be gray and the rest of it would be black. And some people can hide their gray. It's in the little strands. But me, it went straight to, and I got tired of keeping up with this appearance to not have gray hair. I got tired of feeling less than just because my hair was graying sooner than yours. And so I made the decision to go gray. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to fight with this anymore. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I'm going to show up the way I show up, and the gray hair is going to come through. Now, was it comfortable? No, it wasn't. Growing your confidence is not about being comfortable, right? Growing your confidence is not about being comfortable. It's about growth, and growth sometimes hurts. It can be painful. But I am all gray now. This is me. Well, I got some extensions in, but this is me. And I love my hair. I love my hair. And when I love my hair, I love myself. That's a part of myself that I've learned to embrace. Sometimes we can have an inaccurate image of ourselves. We think we are showing up in a not great way, when in fact, other people are in awe of who we are. So what are we going to do about it? How are we going to grow our confidence? Well, the first thing I want you to think about is here's a question. How do I judge myself? Right? I want you to answer that question. How do I judge myself? Really think about that and really be honest. And when you come up with the answer, I want you to think about ways that you can look at yourself differently. How do I describe my strengths and my weaknesses? I want you to listen when you answer that question. I want you to listen or think about the descriptive words you use. Are they positive words or are they negative words? For any negative word, I want you to change it to a positive. You got that? Any negative word, I want you to change it to something more positive and more accepting. Okay? I want you to practice self-compassion. I want you to practice self-compassion. And that means, let me give you an example. This morning, I've been trying to walk a little bit more. No, I've not been trying. I've been walking because I am dissatisfied with my weight. I am dissatisfied. It's not so much my weight, it's the lack of mobility I see happening from sitting so much. So I decided to do something about it. If you don't like something about yourself, do something about it. And I am on this journey this week to walk 2 miles a day. And yesterday I did fine. Yesterday I met my goal. Today, when I sat down and I looked at my Fitbit, my app, it said 1.9 miles. I was so disgusted. I was like, oh, because I wanted 2 miles. Self compassion. Lisa, you got up out of your bed at 6:45 this morning. You hit the pavement at 7 o'clock and you walked 1.9 miles without anyone else telling you to do it, without anyone else clapping for you, without anyone else encouraging you. You were in the house. In 50 minutes, you did it, 52 minutes. You sweat like a pig. You got 1.9 miles. Get over yourself. Congratulate yourself and keep going. That is self-compassion. So what, you didn't meet your goals? So what, you didn't show up the way you wish you would have? The fact of the matter is you showed up. And self-compassion is simply cheering yourself on and embracing all of you. All of you. Validate your self-perception. I want you to get feedback. I want you to ask other people. I want you to test your assumptions. If you feel like you don't show up well, right? One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to ask someone to watch this video. I don't even know how long we've been going at this point, but I'm going to ask someone to watch this video and give me feedback, right? If I think I did well, I want to validate that. If I think I did awful, I want to validate that, right? Not validation for acceptance, real-time feedback so that you can, the perception of yourself matches the truth. It's aligned with what it's more likely aligned with what is more realistic, right? You don't want to think more highly of yourself than you should. You don't want to think less than, right? You want a healthy, realistic perspective of how you're showing up, how you're growing, how people perceive you. Again, that's not about acceptance. It's about understanding where your opportunities are. Okay? Now, I think that's all for today. So we covered a lot. I hope it makes sense. I hope it resonates with you. I'm going to tell you how to stay in touch with me. You can, again, subscribe to my channel. We're going to grow together. I'm going to grow in this space, these YouTube streets, and you're going to grow with whatever your goal is. So get a goal in mind and follow me, and let's get on this journey together. I host I Belong Morning Devotions every Monday through Friday on LinkedIn. We start at 7:55 Eastern Standard Time, so you can catch me there every Monday through Friday. This week we're on break, but this week is, if you're watching this, today is Monday, July 15th. We are starting back on July 22nd, and so please do join us. It is a devotional, 30 minutes. And we spend time in prayer, we spend time in the Word, we spend time reading different devotionals. I am the host. I also have a network, and I'm really excited about the network. It's called I Belong Support Network. And right now, as of this recording, we have 13 Black women who are supporting one another. We show up for each other. We are learning. We are learning to be more vulnerable. I have created a safe space for us, and it's really one of my greatest joys at this moment. So there's a wait list. If you go to ibelongSupportNetwork.com, you can join the wait list. I'll be accepting applications here soon, and probably in the next month or two. Okay. And you can follow me on LinkedIn or any of the social media platforms. I've really enjoyed my time with you, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to get better as you get better. And until next time, again, I am Lisa Medley. I'm an executive coach, and I want to thank you for spending time with me. Have a great rest of your day.